Hello from Gardening at Dwensa here in Ireland, and we're well into September now at this stage, so it's a great time to do some rejigging of the borders. It's a lot of energy for me today because the long border that I've been propagating plants for now has to be addressed, and what I'm going to do today is the first part in that process. I'm going to dig up the plants that are in the border and take them out, and then I will have a clean slate for replanting. So what we're looking at here is what I call my long border, and well, it's a section or an arm of the long border, and this is the one I'm going to be addressing now. So let's just have a quick look in here and see what I'm going to be doing. Now the first thing is that Libertia has to go, but it's going to be horrible to get that out. I'm going to need a crowbar, so I mightn't be able to do that today. Also, the Angel's fishing rods, diorama, that's got to go because it's in the wrong place. I have some dahlias there and some bananas. They can be dug up because they're going to have to go into the greenhouse for winter anyway. In addition, the really tall lilies that we have here, I'm going to dig up and probably put at the back of the border. And what I forgot to mention is that the very back of the border now has a big membrane on it, and that's because back there was originally a lasagna bed. It had originally been grass, and then I converted it to a border using the lasagna method, and I'll link to that video up above. So it's time to remove that plastic and plant up that section there at the back. So tall things like the lily are going to go to the back. The hydrangea I'll probably leave put. And then when we get up here to the perennials, Macleia, nice plant, I'm going to reuse that. And the Alstroemeria, it's too far back in the border, we can't see it, it's just too far back, so that's got to come up today. The nice variegated sedum is coming up. Heucheras will probably discard. Peony will leave in situ. And then over here we have a lot of daylilies which aren't getting enough light, so they didn't flower this year. They'll have to come out. They're good ones, so I do want to reuse them. And then we have stuff that's being overshadowed here by the rhododendron, so well, that's got to come up. That's a burning heart, a very weedy one. I think I'm going to discard that. The yellow euonymus bushes, probably leave those in situ. And well, you know what, I'm going to make it up as I go along. So bear with me and let's see how we go. Okay, so let's bite the bullet, and I'm going to start with the diorama, and I don't know how hard this is going to be to dig up, but up it must come. Now, I'm not really concerned about damaging this. It's a big enough piece that I don't have to worry about it. Just get rid of that hoop. Now the heucheras, whether I use them or not is another thing, but they're certainly in the wrong position. So out they come. I'm going to dig up this thing, don't want it anymore. It's a bleeding heart, but it just runs through everything else. A real horror. I don't have a name for it, but I think its name is compost. The thing is, when gardening, if something isn't doing very well for you, it doesn't matter whether you saw it in Helen Dillon's garden or Jimmy's break garden and it looked fantastic. If it isn't doing well in your own garden, then there's no reason why you should keep it. I mean, why be sentimental towards plants? They're here in your garden to earn their keep, and if they don't do that, well, that's it as far as I'm concerned. You know, we can be soft-hearted about many other aspects of our lives, but one of them is not soft-hearted in terms of what we grow in our garden. I mean, of course, if it's a plant that your kid gave you or something like that, that's different. And perennials are dead easy to dig out. And in fact, you know, at this stage, you can actually divide plants very easily. It's the perfect time to do it. And that could be split into several more clumps. But we'll address that when it's time to put it back in. That's what the leaves look like in spring. Yellow and green variegation. Sunningdale or something. I'm going to put the names of these plants up on the screen. Okay. Okay, so here comes the lily clump. And look in here. Lots and lots of lily bulbs, so I'm going to have to take these out. And you see there's a lot of scutch grass through the lilies, so that's the job I'm going to need to do, take all of that out. Let's just put these over here to the side. Oops. I'll tell you what, I'll just put them here for the moment. And I think that's it for the lilies. Alright, there's some damage done. Now if we just have a quick look here, we can see that these ones, it's kind of self-evident what's going on. And if we look at the clumps, I think you'll find that the clumps actually don't have the bulbs. The bulbs were down deeper. So the clumps, that's the stem that the growth from this year grew on. And there's no lily bulb in there, so that's to be discarded. Here we have lily bulbs down below. Now the trick is to take them off without breaking from the upper stem. Alright, this one, that's okay. You see here, it broke, the stem broke. Should be okay. And I'm just going to cut these ones out. So, there's the lily, and there's the stem, which came up above ground level and flowered this year. I'm just going to cut that there, and then we freed that lily. And then this one here, we're going to do the same thing for, if I can find it. There we go. That one, and then that's just to be discarded. I suppose it's time to have a go with the daylilies. These ones are two types. The red one called Stafford, which is a really good doer, and a double orange one called something Quenso, but they didn't flower for me this year because they're in shade. And again, these are big clumps, so they could be divided if I need to. Okay, now it's time for the tiger lilies. So the tiger lilies have a smaller bulb than the last one we looked at. We'll just put them over there. I feel like I'm a lily farm at the moment. And if you have a look at the trug, you'll see why. There we go. That's a good hole, isn't it? So now I've gotten rid of all of the aquaregia I don't want. It was a horrible invasive one. Now I'm going to dig up the Alstroemeria down here. Now this is a beautiful orange one. It does spread like mad, but I'm going to keep all the pieces because the ones that I don't replant I can sell at a later stage. So I'm going to dig it up in clumps, and I'm not going to worry too much about breaking some of it because it really is an easy plant to get going. And you can see it has these kind of rhizomes underneath. I'm not sure what the correct term for it is. Now this is kind of fallen to pieces, but I'm not going to throw this one. I'm going to lift this one over gently. Don't plan on replanting again in the same day because you're going to have no energy left for it. And this is the point when you wish it never started.